Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Here we're going to be having the Crypto Essentials segment. So in this particular segment I like to discuss things about crypto that should be known by everyone, and a lot of these things for the advanced and intermediate users, you probably already know a lot of these things, or you may actually interact with the things and have just taken them as part of being in the crypto game. But it's something I think it's important for everybody to understand so that they know why they're seeing particular things that they're seeing when they are interacting with blockchains such as Ethereum or Bitcoin. So one of the things that has been a pain point for many users on the Ethereum blockchain is something called gas fees. So gas fees are essentially a payment that's made anytime a transaction is made on the Ethereum blockchain. For some of you who are using some standard CEXs, meaning CEX exchanges, you may not necessarily see these gas fees because the centralized exchange is essentially handling that on your behalf, and they have ways to manage and reduce those costs by doing some internal transactions. And you will see that in the form of a fee anytime you try to withdraw or deposit into the exchange. But if you're using something like a MetaMask wallet and you're directly interacting with the blockchain with a tool such as the Uniswap tool, then you will be very much aware of a gas fee. So typically, anytime you interact with the blockchain directly, you have to pay this gas fee in the form of something called GUI, right? So GUI are the subunits of the Ethereum, and for Bitcoin, if you happen to be using Bitcoin, then the subunits are in Satoshis. For the most part, users that are into the various different cryptocurrencies are going to be interacting with Ethereum, so I'll be focusing a little bit more on that. But before we get into that, I just kind of want to show this fun little animation here that you're seeing here in the background, which is the basically the South Park animation that shows you what it's like or how much activity is actually live on the blockchain, which is really pretty fascinating thing when you think about it. So as you can see, there are a set of buses. There's a Bitcoin set of buses, and there's a Ethereum set of buses. And you can see on the top of the bus the cost in GUI for each of these transactions. And you can also see the speed at which these transactions are made. So this is where it's the most interesting bits of information. You can see here what the median contract fee is. You can also see what the median ETH transfer fee is. And what you got to realize is there's a fee just for simply moving your Ethereum from one wallet to another. And then there's contract fees that are associated with particular transactions. When you're executing a complex smart contract, it can range in cost. So this is just the median value for that contract fee, but that could certainly be higher or lower. It just depends on the complexity of that particular contract. So when you're interacting with a particular DApp, basically a decentralized application, you have to be aware of all these contracts and what's going on with these contracts and how you're being charged. Because if you're not careful, you can be eaten up by all of these wonderful gas fees that we have to deal with. And honestly, this is one of the big reasons why we have seen a spike in the usage of the BSC blockchain, which is the Binance blockchain. Binance blockchain is a proof of stake design, which has allowed for a much higher transaction per second capability. Like here, if we look at the live transactions per second, confirmed transactions per second, you can see that on Bitcoin, it's pretty much 4 for transactions per second. And this is essentially a situation where Bitcoin is maxed out. It can go no faster than this, like 4.28 speed. And when you look at the bus, you can see everybody's crammed into the bus, right? So they are fully maximized here as far as how many transactions are handling. On the other side, we've got a very similar situation with Ethereum. These buses are also full. The block sizes are smaller than Bitcoin block sizes. I think that's why they have a larger bus for Bitcoin and a smaller bus for Ethereum. But in any case, you can see that you know, there's definitely a lot of demand on the blockchain to get on the bus to get from point A to point B, right? I mean, from wallet A to wallet B, and you can see how many people or how many transactions are trying to be executed, and the more people that are involved in these transactions, the more people in line trying to get on the bus, the more expensive these transaction costs are. So at this point, this is actually a low point. I'm recording this during the middle of the night when there's not as many people on the blockchain. Most people are either sleeping or having dinner or relaxing. But I'm here because this is probably the best time to interact with the blockchain. If you have the ability to uh, wait to have a transaction later on in the evening, typically US time, it's better. And the time is relative because people all over the world are trying to interact with the blockchain. And depending on how many people are on at any given point in time, that's what's going to drive the gas fee. So there's another wonderful graphic that helps us see that too. This is a very cute graphic. I love this thing. It really shows you very simply what's going on with basically how congested the system is just by looking at these people. So I would encourage you to visit this site here, transactionstreet.com, during the middle of the day or when the gas prices are high, and you will see just how many people are trying to board the bus or South Park characters at that time. So let's go to the other graphic. And I like this one because graphically you can quickly determine, is it a high point in the price of Ethereum or is it a low point? So this is a graph that shows you the GWEI costs over time. And here you can see the low points and you can see the spikes in the high point for high demand. So they range anywhere from, let's say, a low of, let's say, 99 to a high of 200. And of course, we reach even higher peaks on some days in the 240 range. It's actually slowing down a little bit from the peak right before the exodus to the Binance blockchain. So now it's kind of slowing down to a small extent, but it's again picking up because there's just so many great projects on Ethereum blockchain that people are willing to go ahead and pay those higher gas fees. So here you can see this is the current time and we're seeing a low cost in gas fees, right? So this is really the best time to try to do any sort of Ethereum interaction with blockchain is when you're at these low prices here. So this graph is nice to take a look at it from very simple to read graphical interface. They also have a heat map here. You can see the heat map, and this gives you by time. You can see kind of how expensive things are, and you notice that everything is red, maybe light red color, but it's just essentially telling you things are pretty expensive out there. So GWEI, as you know, are a subunit of the Ethereum. But what does that really mean? It's like, well, how much money is that really? Not everybody can necessarily think in GWEI just because, the price of Ethereum fluctuates and it goes up and down. But the units that they use are based upon that total value of a given Ethereum. So how do you really determine the true price of gas interaction at any point in time? Well, best thing to do, there's another tool that I like to go to here, which is Etherscan. Etherscan has this nice handy tool here, Ethereum Gas Tracker, that will tell you the low, average, and high prices. And it does a handy thing here. The best thing that it does, it shows you that price in US dollars. So that's something that most of us can understand. And better yet, it even shows you what the costs are when it comes to a basic transfer, Uniswap interaction, which a lot of people use. It's one of the most popular dexes in the crypto space. And this is essentially a real-time tracking of this. And as you can see, it shows a low, average, and high. So why are there these differences here? Why are we showing a low, average, high? Well, that's because when you are interacting with the blockchain, The low is basically, this is the minimum you can pay at that particular point in time and expect to have your transaction go through. And as we talked about the slow transaction speeds on Ethereum, that means, a transaction like that can take, typically 5 to 10 minutes, maybe longer. And this is all dependent upon how busy the blockchain is. So the other thing you got to really think about when you are going to do a transaction is that the low price is a bit of a dangerous proposition, because if it's pushing up, if the cost of transactions are pushing up at that point in time, you can have other people outbid you. So this is where the average and high price come in. So the more GWei you give the transaction, that's like the gas, they call it the gas, the faster your transaction will be. So you can see here the low GWei saying 53 seconds, average it says 30, and then high says, basically better than 30 seconds. But these particular numbers are somewhat misleading, because that's not really the total time it's going to take for your transaction. Usually transactions are measured more like in minutes. That's why you'll see these higher costs down here, because it depends on the total time that particular transaction takes to execute. The Uniswap fee looks higher because in addition to the cost of just the gas to move the tokens in the transaction, you're also paying a fee to Uniswap for the privilege of being able to exchange those particular tokens. So understand that's why you have this additional higher cost in GWei here. It's not because of the gas just to move, but it's also the fee that you're paying in addition to that movement gas fee. So why are we doing this? So as I mentioned in the title of this particular video, we're going to be looking at the Polkamon. Polkamon, not to be confused with Pokemon, is a cute little project by the Polka Starter team or the Polkadot team, where they have decided that they're going to have an NFT to represent a type of a little animal or character, monster, whatever you want to call it, that is essentially, a lot like the Pokemon. And right now NFT craze is really in full swing, and people are really wanting to snatch these things up. And this is your opportunity to catch one of these initial offering Polkamon. So here's the site for the Polkamon, where you can claim an egg for a limited period of time. So this is a fun little gas price experiment, right? So I'm able to also show you in actuality what the gas is going to be for this transaction. So the nice thing is this is essentially a giveaway, but it's not entirely free, because you're also paying for the gas fee to just claim the egg. So the actual NFT, if you're lucky enough to get one, so everybody will get an egg that enters this process, but not everybody will get an actual Polkamon. So to learn more about that, you could visit my Twitter page, and there on Twitter at PowerCosmic, all one word, I have a link to the Polkamon egg claiming process here, and this is an article published on Medium, and it shows all the details about how exactly this process works. As you can see, I was on this Polkamon claim egg page just to show you what that looks like, and this tells you, there's basically going to be 100 of these guys that are going to be provided, and then another 80 ultra rare moon rock things. So we'll be looking forward to that. But realize this is a limited time opportunity, and essentially, I'm also taking this Polkamon claim egg situation as an opportunity to demonstrate the cost of gas in a simple way that is fun. And I encourage you, if you just kind of want to get your feet wet and kind of learn about how MetaMask and direct wallet transactions work at a lower cost, this would be a way to do it. So here, so you can check out the Polkamon page. So let's go through that process now. So I've got my Polkamon page here, and essentially there's this claim egg here button, and what you got to do is you got to have your MetaMask or other internet wallet to make this happen. So you would click on your MetaMask wallet, and then here, if you want to claim it, you're going to have to connect your wallet, your Ethereum mainnet wallet, to the Polkamon site. And once you've done that, you'll see that this claim egg button is now available, and you just click that claim egg button, and here's going to say, okay, you can claim your egg, right? So before this screen pops up, you'll typically have the connect wallet button. So once you've done that, then it'll pop up with this claim egg button. So go ahead and click the claim egg. It interacts directly with your MetaMask wallet. And here we can see the gas price. So at this point in time, it's estimating that the gas price is going to be around $7.91. And typically what you got to know is the way that your MetaMask works is it's going to essentially default to the medium cost for gas. If you wanted to, there's actually ways to increase the gas. So you can go here to edit, and it gives you this simplified version here where there's a slow cost, average cost, fast cost. I'll typically say, if the prices are this close, it's usually better to go with fast. Fast will get you a quick transaction, whereas if you go with slow, it will be a little while before you get your transaction to go through. Furthermore, if you wanted to be even more advanced, you can go to the Advanced tab, and you can actually tell them what gas price you want to use for your transaction. So right here we're set to 100, and that's basically the low at this point. Here you got, and that's going to cost you this $7.75. And as you can see, this is a dynamic thing based upon how busy the network is. So we're going to click fast only. I like to recommend fast because what happens is sometimes, at least for the very first transaction, because when you pick slow, you can get nervous because the transaction takes such a long time to go through. I mean, it's typically in the matter of minutes, and also it can go even beyond that. So I'll pick fast. Then I'll hit save. So now it's increased my gas cost here. You can see that. And now and you can see this is where we're interacting. We're interacting with the Polkamon site and this particular wallet and address. So now we want to confirm the transaction. So now the website goes into the process of the claim. So I've submitted a claim for this egg. And now the process is going, and this is where the gas is now being used to make this transaction occur. So if you want to see what's happening, you can actually go back to your wallet. And in your wallet, you will have an activity tab here. All right, the activity tag will show you this so the latest transaction that you made will show up at the top. And you can click on this little button here, and it'll show you the summary information about your transaction. So here we have, this is what the transaction ended up actually costing. And then here you can click on View on Etherscan. And this will show you the actual transaction that you've just made. Okay, this is a transaction hash, where the transaction came from, the contract that was used, and then how much it cost. And this also will show you how much time the transaction is taken. Since we went with fast, and because things are actually relatively low in congestion at this point in time, that went fairly quick at 53 seconds, and with a confirmation of 30 seconds. So that's nice. If you made the transaction slower, This would also show you that the transaction is currently in progress, and it will have like a little clock here, and you'll see a little animation showing the transaction taking time, and you'll have like an in progress kind of a status code up here. But in this case, because I went ahead and used the fast gas, it succeeded right away, which is nice. So if we go back here, we can see that my egg was claimed. So now I've got a Polkamon egg, and there it is shaking around in the little animation, and we'll have to come back on the day that these are supposed to hatch. So there's a defined day for these to hatch, and that's when we'll come back to see whether or not we were able to actually capture one of these guys, or we end up with, I guess it's going to be an empty egg. I'm not 100% sure. So I'll check on that a little bit, and we'll then provide that information. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it was informative, helped you have a little better understanding of what gas prices are and what they're for, and why there's a fluctuation in price. Just realize that this one transaction I made cost me like $8. So it was $8 for this free egg. But realize that if I were to have done it earlier in the day, when the gas prices were higher, here, in the middle of the day, you got this $200 gas price, you could pay quite a bit more. It would have been close to triple, so you'd have been paying something like a $30, $40 gas fee for the exact same transaction. So be mindful of that. Sometimes, given a particular situation that you're in, you may want to pull your tokens out quickly, because let's say the price is going in the wrong direction and you just need to liquidate as soon as you can. Just realize that you got this gas price situation, and if you can actually hold off, there are times of the day where it's advantageous to run that transaction, so you're not paying such a high fee for that transaction. So with that, I leave you, and I hope you have an opportunity to pick up one of these eggs. I think this is going to be fun, a fun thing to do, just to watch this egg hatch. And I look forward to the next video. So until then, Cryptonauts, have a good day. Take care. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, Cryptonauts. Peace.